Here's where it gets complicated, but the details are the most important thing to pay attention to here. The time allotted to file an appeal was only 3 days. Justin, with help from English professor Rachel Lagadka and student government attorney Andy Kossover, cited 16 reasons that the decision needed to be overturned. Among them, Will Paisano, the student member of the committee, was not a current student and was not selected by the student government as required by Section D3B of the Judicial Procedure. The committee did not seclude itself or decide the verdict as a body, as called for by Section D2F. Paul Zuckerman, the chairman of the committee, had been criticized previously by the students over his performance on the CAS board. He operated with transparent bias, allowing SUNY witnesses to rebut the students' testimony, but not vice versa, contrary to D2D6. Student Affairs got to choose the independent appeals officer who would judge the merits of the appeal. They chose Mary Beth Collier, Paul Zuckerman's friend. Needless to say, she rejected the appeal. Refusing to give up, RJ and Justin announced they would file a lawsuit in federal court on the grounds that their First and 14th Amendment rights had been violated. A well-known Hudson Valley attorney, Michael Sussman, took their case.
Last spring, 3 new student government leaders at SUNY New Paltz had an argument with Karina Karachi, the university's residence life director, about their election to office. One of the students was recording the encounter on a digital video camera, and here's what the end of the argument sounded like.
Get out of here. Karina, shut up.
You guys are so disrespectful.
I don't want to talk to you in the middle of a hallway. I don't know why you're here talking to me. I heard you, Karina. This is like last...
Just started to hear.
That bang you just heard was of the door that shut behind Karachi as she entered a university office. Karachi reported the incident, claiming the young men harassed her. University administrators considered her charge, along with other incidents, and decided to suspend future student body president Justin Holmes and expel future student body vice president R.J. Partington. The students claim the administration is punishing them for their activist behavior. They've supported loosened restrictions on drug use, among other things. But SUNY spokesman Eric Gullickson says that's not true.
They have not been punished for their speech. They're being disciplined for their conduct. The college has a mandate to protect campus community members from harassment by providing a process where these complaints can be heard and addressed, and that is what has been done here.
He declined to comment much further, saying that while the issue is being litigated, he won't talk about it publicly. But others in New Paltz are speaking up on behalf of the students. Former SUNY administrator William Sample says he never saw a situation quite like this one in his time at the school from 1968 through 1995.
It's a life-altering event that they're talking about for these kids, and the college is getting itself into a situation where they can't win. They're not going to look very good if they suspend these people, and they're not going to look very good if they withdraw that suspension.
Joel Lefkowitz has taught both Holmes and Partington in his political science classes at SUNY. He thinks the punishments of the students are unfair.
Well, I've seen the video, and I've read the 175-page transcript of the campus judicial hearing, and the evidence doesn't really support the charges.
Even New Paltz Mayor Jason West, a Green Party member and a former SUNY student, is speaking out on the issue.
They were treated unfairly. Whether they did whatever they were accused of, I don't know. But the process by which they were judged was just patently unfair, and I believe unconstitutional.
Meanwhile, SUNY tried to hold a hearing for the stolen sleeping bag charge. This time, however, the students did not back down when Student Affairs tried to illegally place people on the committee as members.
The only thing that's written is that the Student Association president has the, it's his authority to appoint the students. There is nothing in there about when the training will take place, no.
This is Linda Eaton. She's the Dean of Students, trainer and selector of jury, judge, and complainant in this case. She is trying to claim that she can name all the jurors, including the students, because the legitimately named students have not been trained. While she acknowledges that Justin has the authority to name the student jurors, she said that the judicial rules do not specify a date for the training to take place. What she doesn't mention is that there is no mention whatsoever of any training in the regulations.
That could be the case.
Rooney?
How you doing?
That's a complicated answer to that question.
Probably not enough time to answer.
How are you doing?
Okay.
Here's David Rooney. He's the Vice President of Student Affairs.
Here's the deal. Hearing officers, students, other hearing officers, whether they're faculty or whatever, go through a training process. I understand you've appointed some, which is your right, but they've not been trained.
Okay.
So you can't just bring somebody in that's not undergone training when everybody that's preceded them has gone through that training.
Okay, I mean, I see from a procedural standpoint where you're coming from, and obviously that makes sense. I know you go through a training process. I was clear in the email that if you want to wait until the fall, that's your prerogative. I made a clear recommendation that you not wait until the fall if you wanted them to be trained. But this training process is not outlined in any way in the manual. There's no mention of the training process, no mention of the... In other words, we're following the book.
No, you're not, because the process is that everybody that's ever sat in there has gone through the training.
Well, I understand that that's precedent, but the book in black and white has a very clearly delineated process, and that's the process that we're following.
But you can't just throw on, I'm sorry to just jump in.
I don't know who you are, but this is a conversation between Justin and myself.
I mean, frankly, to me, it's clearly a conflict of interest for me to even appoint people to this committee, or for you to even appoint people to this committee. This whole thing is a bit of a circus in my mind anyway.
Okay, but be that as may, that's what it is.
I'm going to take some time and be in contact with some people that are going to advise me, and then I guess in 10 minutes or so I'll come back to you. But you're putting me in a very awkward position right now.
Well, I think you're putting yourself in one because you want people to be in a hearing that haven't been trained to be in a hearing.
Okay, but I mean, I made it very clear in my email that they were effective immediately, and that was not contested.
But in the handbook, it doesn't really say that. It says the president appoints them.
I mean, if you want to talk about what it doesn't say in the handbook, then that sounds like a pretty slippery slope.
We could do this all day because this is,
We're not going to do this all day. No, I'm going to go right now, and I'm going to make contact with some people that are going to advise me, and then I'm going to come back and let you know how we're going to proceed.
Okay. No, I'm telling you how the two choices are we're going to proceed.
Okay, I understand that. Again, I'm going to go figure out what I'm going to do, and then I'll be in contact with you.
Okay.
All right. I will be back, everyone.
RJ, you record me in a hallway again like that, and you and I are going to have some serious difficulties. You're allowed to do it when there's two people. Turn it off.
There's enough people here. I'm not turning it off. Don't ever threaten me again like that. Do not do that to me.
What threat did you hear?
That if you ever do that again while having some serious difficulties, do not do that to me.
Or, what, you're going to record me some more?
Of course, RJ was in his legal right to record the conversation. At this point, Justin went to the stairwell and spoke to several personal advisors, including his staff attorney, Victoria Kossover. Kossover agreed with him in his plain language interpretation of the procedure manual. She advised him to get in writing the precise reason that Student Affairs wanted to delay the proceeding, and if they would not provide it, insist on a hearing with the legitimate jurors.
Okay, I spoke to the lawyer, spoke to Vicki Kossover, and she said that these three people are permitted to be on the hearing, and that I should, if the Student Affairs does not want to conduct a hearing with those three people, and they want to postpone the hearing, that I need to get in writing why they want to postpone the hearing.
Rooney complied, giving Holmes a very brief letter, saying that the hearing needed to be delayed so that the jurors could undergo the training. More than a year has passed, and at the time of the creation of this video, the jurors have not been called, and the hearing has not been rescheduled. With the stolen sleeping bag charge out of the way, the only thing keeping the students from getting back into school was the small task of winning a federal lawsuit against SUNY.